afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Let me cut this heat off first. 1 second. There we go. We're good now. We're good. All right. So, good afternoon, man. I'm not entirely sure. What's my biggest lesson this year? Biggest lesson I learned this year, man. Oh man. First, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's holding up good and all that. Um, this is a good. This is a really good one. Um, what's this? What day is this? This is, I think, the 8th day in a row going live on this channel, which is dope. But I want to say the biggest lesson. What the fuck? I guess that's wet. Biggest lesson I've learned this year. Then I'm really puzzled by this. I wrote the damn question. I'm stuck. Uh. Hmm. Damn, I'm really stuck. I'm really stuck. Hmm. I don't want to. I don't want to cop out and just say. Um. I'll say for right now, the biggest lesson I learned. What's up, dude? Biggest lesson I learned this year is boundaries, which is something I always knew, but you gotta really reinforce your boundaries even when it's uncomfortable. And if you don't reinforce your boundaries, if you don't do it, then you will 1,000% get your boundaries violated. Um, you will 1,000% get your boundaries violated. 100%. And it's not even a lot of times malicious. Like if somebody don't know that this thing is a trigger, if somebody doesn't know that this thing bothers you, and they're around you enough, then they will violate at some point. Like now, violation can be intentional, and it may not be intentional. You know what I'm saying? But like you really gotta like reinforce your boundaries. That's probably the biggest lesson of all the lessons I've learned this year. Because there's a lot of shit I've learned. You know, the longer you live, you should be learning every day. But that's definitely number one is boundaries, reinforcing boundaries, and like you know, and the most uncomfortable thing is just vocalizing them, saying that this is a boundary, don't cross this. Um, what up, Reed? That's probably the biggest one. Like having a boundary and then making sure you let people know this is my boundary. Living the dream, hope you're doing. Yeah, I'm good, bro. Um, but yeah, that's probably the biggest one. Is that it's definitely reinforcing boundaries. I even said like I'm trying to think of a moment this year. Um, I think I'm gonna tighten up on the especially when I start going live again on TikTok. I'm gonna tighten up over there with some boundaries because like the shit that be happening over there, that should be wild. That should be wild as fuck. That's part of why I've been going live on YouTube, more or less. Part of why. Other part is they still have my account under this weird.
I see. I told on you. You can't. I tell on you, man. No, Kennedy. How? Cause get what if I ain't said that? What you?
Right here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Right now, my TikTok account is still not recommended because they believe I'm impersonating myself, and there's been a lot of fake accounts made of me. So whenever they recommend my account again, I'll start posting on TikTok again. But until then, I'm not gonna be fucking with TikTok. I'm not gonna be fucking with it. I think that's weird as shit that even happened. So But yeah, I think boundaries probably is the biggest lesson of the year, for sure. Like, standing up for yourself, saying what you meaning what you say. Um, but what I always felt was weird, and I guess this is why, like, even to some degree I've struggled with boundaries, is that, like, sometimes boundaries are implied, and when they're implied, you expect people who respect you to not do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would expect people who, like, to, like, follow it. So, like, an implied boundary, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I didn't meet you, if I didn't meet you, like, if I met you as this particular, I don't know, if I met you in this particular space, I'm gonna respect you in that space, if that makes sense. So, for example, I have a staff member I met in my middle school. His name is Vernon, but I've always called him Mr. Monroe because we knew him as Mr. Monroe as kids. I can't imagine myself calling him Vernon now. Now, even though I'm grown and he grown, I can't imagine saying, "Yo, Vern, what up?" I can't really imagine that, like, because I didn't get to know him that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't imagine that. Like, now if he said, "Yo, call me Vern," I'm like, "All right, cool." You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's something I couldn't imagine doing. Like, but it's implied because I've been around him. So, bro, he knew me when I was like 13 years old, bro. He's been around for a while. So it's shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what people get struggle with boundaries, because it's like, I shouldn't have to tell you this. You should know this. It's implied in the relationship. I don't know, but that's what it is. Weekend was solid. I just did a whole bunch of editing and streaming and shit like that. Weekend was solid. I had some computer issues though. My shit just crashed on me a couple times with Warzone. That was weird. That's what it is. Reek, you on the road, Reek? Damn, I fuck it. I got something in my eye. Damn. See, this is when you got cats. This type of shit that happens to you all the time. What, Tommy? What's up, Tommy? Hey, no. Y'all messing up my blinds when y'all do that. Come on, get down. Y'all killing my blinds. My blinds ain't got no hope. They don't got no hope with y'all. I got fat in my one kitten up. He sleep way too much. When you getting back? When you getting back, bro? Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. Oh, another lesson. Another lesson. Another lesson. And I've already known this I've knew this one too. Another lesson I learned this year is to take care of your business. Wow, it sounds like mad cliche when I say that, but it's like, really think about it. How many times have we let things slide because we didn't think it was important? Although we knew it was important, we just didn't think it made sense to address right then and there. But later on in life, or later on that year, or later on that month, because we didn't address it on Monday, now we 3 Mondays pass, and this one issue has now become a bigger issue because we haven't addressed it. So definitely that one, like taking care of your business. Taking care of your business has been a big one. Taking care of your business when you recognize it's your business to take care of, that's been a big one for me as well. Just because I know at this point, when you don't take care of your shit, when you don't take care of your shit, it tends to bite you in the ass every time. And it tends to bite you in the ass every time. Like, and you'll find yourself like, damn, like, I'm fucked. Dealing with X or dealing with Y, dealing with Z. You know what I'm saying? So that's something I've also learned too, is taking care of your business, man. Like, because I'm not gonna lie, I just really got into, like, not just, but I'm at a point now where I consistently when I make some money and I got a bill, I take care of the bill first. I definitely was one of those guys. I know I'm not alone, but I definitely was one of those guys that would get paid and not address the bill, not take care of the bill first. I've definitely done that shit way too many times for my liking. And I'm playing with fire when I do shit like that, I'm playing with fire. Like I gotta chill out with that. So I've definitely done that way too much. Where I'm like, I got a bill, I got something I'm doing, and I don't address it right away, and now here we are with this kerfuffle of issues, right? I've definitely done that shit a million times, right? So now I'm in a point now where I handle my shit up front. Um, I've also learned this shit to be more brave. Cause for a long time I didn't post my music on my Instagram. I didn't outwardly post shit on Instagram musically, because a lot of those people on Instagram knew me in a certain light. They knew me as an athlete, knew me in school. A lot of them didn't know I rap, so it was kind of embarrassing, the idea of posting my music over there, because I felt like it wouldn't be received well. But there's a couple things I had to get over. One, there are people who are gonna rock with me regardless. They're gonna rock out. They're gonna listen to the music. They're gonna stream the music regardless. That's one. But there's two. If it's good music, it's good music. It don't matter who it comes from. So as long as I'm creating good shit, um, damn, really got something in my eye. I hate when this happens. As long as I'm creating good stuff, then I give myself a great chance on, you know, on people rocking with it. So those are a couple things I definitely had to learn. I definitely had to figure out. Like again, like this life, like you learn the question of the most important lesson, the biggest lesson you learned this year is that no matter what, you're gonna learn a lot of lessons, and it's not about the lessons; it's about what you take from them. Throughout life and throughout our days, we go through a lot of stuff. We see a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff happens. That's just the nature of life. But if we don't take anything from it, then whatever happened or whatever it is irrelevant. We didn't take nothing from it. And so for me, I've definitely gotten to a point now where I'm doing mentally. I'm better with taking in information and receiving information. Because before I struggled with doing shit like that, bro. Like it was at a point I'm like, yo, like shit is happening and I'm not taking the information in, so it's irrelevant to everything. Like it's not. It means nothing because shit is happening and I'm not, learning from it. And I kind of felt the same way. Now that we in this particular part of the conversation, I felt the same way about the hood. I felt the same way about substance use. Like that's kind of like, and I said that when I was talking about like why I don't drink or why I don't smoke. There's a lot of people that come around that I grew up with who saw the same shit I saw. Some people didn't see it that way. But a lot of people saw their drunk uncles, their drunk aunts, their drunk, cousins, auntie with diabetes, uncle with kidney failure. Like they seen the same shit, right? And they said, okay, well, I see this. I know this is bad. I know this is dangerous. I know this isn't good for me, but I'm gonna still do X, Y, and Z. That's why I never understood it, right? And so, like, those are things I was able to see and identify and say, okay, I can't copy that, but that hasn't been true with everything. And so, so I'm at a point now where like I'm really trying to obtain as much information as possible. So whatever happens around me, I want to obtain as much information as possible while it's going on. I don't want to miss that lesson. I don't want to miss that opportunity to grow. I don't want to miss that opportunity to grow and get a real good understanding of things. Life is very short, man. Life is very short. This is the year where I've lost the most people. I lost the most people this year. I lost my brother Kyle, and I lost my coach / mentor Mike, Coach Mike, and but also this year I lost a car. My car got repossessed. I got evicted. Ended up back in the city. So a lot has happened this year, and I'm not playing victim to all of it. I'm not playing victim. I also got fired too. I've never been fired before. So now like I'm not playing victim like, hey, I did nothing to deserve any of these things. Obviously, I did nothing to deserve my homies dying, my brother dying, and my coach dying. That has nothing to do with me. But me getting evicted, there's a role I played in that, right? Like me getting evicted. My landlord actually didn't have any paperwork, so that was even weirder, right? So the eviction isn't even on my record. My landlord had no paperwork on the John, so So there's a lot. There's a lot, man. And then I got fired. So there's a lot that's happened this year. And that's why I guess even the bigger lesson in boundaries is taking care of your business. And taking care of your business up front, like meeting it early. Not letting it build up and then pile on to you, because that's what can happen a lot. And then once it starts to build up, it becomes a monster that you don't want to deal with. Um, so those are something things I really learned. I really, you know, I took in, and so yeah, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with all of that. Like I think I'm doing a little bit better with those things in those spaces. We also got some more music coming, some more stuff coming as well. We're working in that regard. Um, Streams are steadily climbing. Like I'm watching streams climb up. So from the Glizzy Factory, nah, bro, no. I left. I left the Glizzy Factory. Um, I left the Glizzy. That was last year. That was 24. That was 24. That was March 24. March 24. I left the hot dog factory. I got fired from the home health care joint. Yep, I got fired from there. When I had like the racist client, and they wouldn't move me to another job. They wouldn't, like, what they should have done was move me to another facility. I mean another house, but they didn't move me to another house. They kept me in that house. He would say all kinds of racist shit to me. All kinds of racist shit. So, and yeah, that was rough. That was rough. That was rough. And it was rough. Like getting fired from there, like getting fired is one thing, but getting fired from there, when I'm like on paper, I'm overqualified for that type of job. That's what made that hurt a little bit more, if that makes sense. Like I really struggle with that because it felt like an ego hit. Like they're talking when I got hired there, right? When I got hired there were a couple members there who were talking about me being a house manager. And so like, and I only had been there for a couple months. I wasn't there long. And so it was like, damn, like you went from potentially being a house manager and I'm just firing you, and no reason why, like no specific reason why, no detail, just and I think a part of why I got fired is because they had did some adjusting with the schedules, and all they had for me was overnights. Right? All they had for me was overnight Jones. That's all they had for me was overnight Jones. And I'm not working overnight. I wasn't working like afternoons, overnight. I do an afternoon, but I'd rather be working like a morning or afternoon. Like I went from having mornings and afternoons to overnights. And I'm like, bro, you're not about to make me work no overnight. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think because I wasn't picking up those extra shifts that were available, they figured like, well, he don't really want to be here. He's not committed. Like, so I understand it. And I got to be honest. Did I do everything in my power to maintain the job? No, I didn't. Like, I didn't want to be there. So I'm not really, so again, I can't be all that mad. Like, even if a job to you or to me is like bullshit, this is somebody's career. So I'd rather you bring someone in who's going to make it their career. I'd rather you do that. I'm not going to be mad at you for that. You know? I'd rather you do that. You know, I can't pretend like, oh yeah, man, I was giving it my all. I was the best ever. I was not. I was not the best ever. I did not really want to be there. So I can't be mad. Even with the last job interview I just had, I had a job interview and motherfucker, I think I explained the story, but I got a tuberculosis shot the last Friday on my dad's death anniversary. I got a TB shot. And it took them, I got there at 10:15. They didn't finally give me my TB shot until like 12 o'clock. I had an interview at 12 o'clock on Teams. So I had my phone with me. I get on the interview. Like I had to apologize to him. I get on the interview, man. Interview's going okay. And then my phone dies in the interview. So like, but I didn't want to be there. So here's the thing that you got to ask yourself. If you don't want to clock in from somebody, how hard are you willing to work to build what you're trying to build? That's the question we're going to ask ourselves. If you don't want to clock in for nobody, cool, nothing wrong with that. How long how long and how hard are you willing to work to build your own thing that will generate you income where you can take care of yourself and build your like because if you're not going to clock in for somebody, here's the thing: when you clock in for somebody with when you work a 9 to 5 or for anyone else, they have already built the infrastructure. They have already built everything for the job. All you do is go do a task or several tasks, and you get paid in a week or 2 weeks. Right? That's it. It's a simple thing. When you try to do it yourself, you have to build the infrastructure, and then you got to do the groundwork to get the money. You got to build the infrastructure and then build the groundwork to get the money. That's where things start to change. And a lot of us don't have it in us to really build a good infrastructure and then put the groundwork in to get the work in. You know, so that's something I had to accept and learn. You know, that's something I had to accept and learn. You feel me? So, hold on. You know, so you gotta ask yourself that. Me and my boy Josh was on the phone yesterday. We were talking about that. I was talking about how like it's a system, right? Like lack of systems. Like systems are the things that allow you to flourish because it's not a talent thing. It's not a oh damn I can't do this. Like I don't think anyone that hears me rap don't think I can't rap. Reek has known that I rap. My brother Reek has known that I rap since. When Reek met me, he found out fairly soon after that I rapped. But prior to me even meeting Reek, I was rapping since I was 9 years old. So it's never been an issue of talent. It's always been an issue maybe of systems, even consistency to a degree, but it's never been an issue of talent. So once you kind of embrace that, once you kind of embrace it and talk about it, now you got to start putting your systems in place. Again, nothing wrong working a 9 to 5. I think it's great. I think however you could put some bacon on the motherfucking table is great. As long as you ain't breaking the law. That's my personal, very humble opinion. As long as you ain't breaking the law, you know, as long as you ain't breaking the law, as long as you ain't robbing nobody, you know, do what you got to do. But I've worked enough jobs to know I do not want to work for anybody. So if I don't want to work for nobody, I got to work so goddamn hard that I don't have to. I got to put in the time, create the system, be consistent, show up every day, even when the day sucks. That's just how it goes. And that's the way that we got to go about it in general. Be so consistent that whatever you're doing, it can't be stopped. Be so consistent, show up all the time, even when the shit is like damn, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? You got to show up. You got to show the fuck up. You know, and so, you know, so it is what it is, yo. But that kind of goes back to the boundaries I was just talking about. So if you go back to the boundaries I was talking about earlier, right? It's not about just establishing boundaries with other people. It's about having boundaries within yourself. People are more likely to respect your boundaries when they know you respect your own boundaries. Right? And so when you show up for yourself and people see you show up for yourself, then they're like, okay, well, this person's serious about what he or she is saying. And so I stand on that as well. And so I'm thinking at this point in time, if I'm going to really give myself a shot with this, I need to have boundaries in my practices and what I'm doing and when I got to get it done. That way, when it's time to shine, I can shine. But if I let the noise or lack of noise manipulate my energy and where I'm trying to go, then I will never get there. I'll never get there. So, biggest lesson this year, man. Those are some of the biggest lessons I've learned this year. But let me know in the comments what are some of the lessons you guys learned this year that you plan on taking in with you next year and capitalizing on some of those lessons, man, because I'm getting all this, y'all. Appreciate y'all.